Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, and welcome to TFYLP, episode 349. Uh-oh, I just realized on my card here that I misspelled Transformers.
Oops. Way to go. It's only the one thing we talk about.
It's fixed now. Well, if we get through this whole show and that's the only thing that gets messed up, we'll be doing good. So anyway, TFYLP 349. Today I am joined by Mr. Christian over here.
Hello.
Anna.
Good morning.
And Jack.
Hey.
So today we are going to be discussing some exciting new Hasbro reveals. So it's been a little while. They're all their stuff is quarterly. So they hadn't released toys for a little while, and then now we're getting an avalanche of news and toys and all this kind of thing. So what's up, Antoine? And then at the top of the show, I did want to mention that we are doing a special promotion for our Patreon subscribers. So if you aren't aware, we do have a Patreon that we have to help support the show and the channel. We do the Patreon so that, to kind of help subsidize the show. So we have hosting costs for the podcast, hosting costs for the websites, and all that type of thing. And just for different promotional items and whatnot. So anyway, with that, you can support us on Patreon via patreon.com/TFYLP. And so we have tiers that are as low as $1, all the way up. But what we're doing for our higher tiers, for our supporters, is that if you are a supporter at the $10 level or higher, we are doing a run of T-shirts for TFYLP and the TF Talk Network. So if you're interested, go and sign up on patreon.com. And anyone who has signed up by next Sunday, so October 13th, that you will be eligible to receive a T-shirt if you support us at the $10 per month level. If you support us at the $25 per month level, you can get a hoodie or a T-shirt, either your choice. And the sizes on those, I talked to the T-shirt guy, and he said that they can go all the way up. So we're doing it. So if you need a 4X, 5X, 6X, whatever you need, if you need those, we can get your size. It's a custom run that we're doing, for this. So for right now, we may do something next year, but this is pretty much going to be our only run of shirts. And so we're trying to get them done in time for TFCon in Reston, because several of us, I believe Christian and myself and Ann are all going, along with several other cast members. So we wanted to go ahead and get that done for that. And then we, for our supporters as well. So if you have any questions, go to our Facebook page or ask on Twitter. And we should, answer any questions you guys have. But they're pretty much, it's going to be a black T-shirt or hoodie with silver writing with the TFTalk.net logo on it. So anyway, so that's that. And again, you don't have to do, support us at those levels. It's just, again, that, something that we want to do for the people that do support us at those levels. So And then Rob will be there too. So, and Peter. And I think Paul's going and Rick.
God, now it's
And
starting to make me feel bad.
I can't remember
And
if John is.
Jack is going.
I wish.
well, Jack, there's still time to kind of get everything squared away, and I'm sure your job would love it if you just said, "Hey, do you mind if I take 5 days off in a row or whatever it is?"
I'm gonna piss off for a while. Can you find somebody to work? Yeah, that's gonna fly so well.
It'd be so easy to do.
Yeah, and Antoine will be there as well. So we look forward to your coverage of the show too. And Antoine always does live casts and whatnot. So he runs the Third Party Unlimited page. So he always does a great job of updating the news for that. So yeah, so it should be a lot of fun here in a couple weeks for TFCon. We haven't really figured out what we're going to do, but
go.
Probably figure that out. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing is you never really know there. We were able to do something last year just because we were able to get a room with internet and whatever. But it's you never know how the Wi-Fi is going to be or anything like that. So, we'll try to do something if we can live from the show. But, I don't want to make any promises right now. So, but we should definitely at least have coverage of the show and all the new figures and all that. And I'm sure that that's probably what most people are interested in anyway. So. But yeah,
also have coverage of all the partying that we'll be doing together.
Party!
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I only party in quotes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. A bunch of Transformer fans, partying is not really the, it's not a crazy party or anything like that.
It'll be all right. It'll be fun.
I've heard there's some crazy parties that happen. I've only been once. I went one time.
I know the Roma Collectors Party got broken up last year at the hotel, but they were specifically going, they were going through and shutting down anyone that had their room door open. So it was one of those things where you'd have 2 people in a room and they would show up and be like, "Oh, we heard there's a party in here," the hotel staff.
Party?
And you're like, I wouldn't consider this a party. There's 2 dudes in here, so. But
I don't know. That's one of the cool things about it, though. When a hotel turns into a dorm, everybody has their doors open, just wandering around, pretending not to have alcohol.
Well, I know the hotel. I think that they had it at last year in Chicago. I think it had an issue with a group that was really hardcore partying, and so I think ever since then they were trying to really
it's an anime con they have there.
Tamp that down or whatever.
I think I remember that.
It's I forget what it is. Serge will be able to tell you since he was there. But yeah, it was an anime con that just got way out of hand at that hotel.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't remember the hotel in DC that they did it at is actually a relatively small hotel, and I don't remember them giving anyone trouble. Do you remember that, Christian, a couple years ago?
I don't think they gave anybody trouble, but I also don't think anybody gave them any trouble. It was pretty quiet all around.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, none of the parties or whatever that I've been to at this thing, it's not anyone's just going crazy. It's most 90% of the stuff is just, half a dozen people in a room just chit chatting. So, and there are ones that have more than that, but it's
get 20 people in a room. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
That's kind of intense.
It's gonna be great.
I don't know. Just thinking compared to college or something like that, it's it's nothing like that.
It'll be fine. Everyone wear deodorant. Everyone take showers. Otherwise, you'll be fine.
Gonna say,
brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Be a human essentially, and then you'll be fine.
Well, I think usually the hotel will give out toiletries to people if they forget them too. So just.
I'm not worried about people forgetting them.
Fine. Just using them.
That's not the issue.
Yeah. No, it's definitely
forgetting them might be the issue.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
Lucas, what are we actually talking about today?
okay, yeah, today.
Deodorants.
So our topic today, we're actually talking about Hasbro. So first off, the Unicron, watch was underway, has been underway, and we actually Unicron met his goal last night.
Woo!
So and he's been like, crushing, past the goal now. I think it's up to, what's the current?
80.
It was
I was looking last
8,500 or
night.
so when I looked right before the show.
I can look. Hang on. Because when I looked last night,
over.
I thought I saw like 83.59, but
I think it's over 8,500 whenever I looked earlier this morning. But
is that what we call crushing?
Oh.
I don't know if that's what we call crushing.
Now they just updated.
It's going up quite a bit. Like, so
we languished with no increases basically for like 3 weeks, and now it's hundreds and hundreds per day.
Now it's just saying 8,000 plus backers. There's no specific number.
Oh.
I know they had it last night because
they had it this morning at like 8,500.
Yeah, they had it like an hour ago.
Because
like 85.67 is the last thing I saw.
Right. So I really wanted to, because I was curious compared to like the sail barge or whatever. It added, I think, what was it? Added 3,000 extra. Like its goal was 5,000, and it got up to 8,000, I think, by the end. So,
well, Unicron made it, and I gotta say, in the overnight times, there's been some great posting going on. My favorite so far has been someone asking if, now that it's backed, they'll be able to buy it in a store in 2021 when it comes out.
I'm like, nope.
No.
No.
And then they were mad because only the backers will get it. I'm like, my guy, do you not understand how any of this works? This is 2019. We can read now.
Right.
I know that's mean, but
are you assuming people can read?
3 months. Like, get with the program.
Well, I mean, the thing is that more than likely you will be able to get your hands on a Unicron when it comes out. There's going to be people that bought extras that are going to try to sell them on eBay or whatever. They're doing that now for the sail barge. So now you're going to have to pay a lot extra for that privilege.
A lot.
And God knows how much this thing is going to cost to ship. Like, that's what I'm curious about. Like, especially someone. I mean, I'm glad that they're actually doing it with partners in Australia and the UK and all that, because, man, if you had to ship this thing, like, because I remember there was somebody, was it Retro Blasting, I think, was telling a story about that, where with the sail barge, that they were having issues trying to ship a sail barge from the U.S. to Australia just because of the size. So
I bet they might have to put it on an actual barge, like King Kong. Just go.
Yeah. So, but
bigger than Unicron, right? Big.
I don't know. I honestly, I mean,
it's not more massive, I don't think, but I think it's bigger.
Rick would probably have to be the one to comment on that. I think he's the only one in the group that got a sail barge, right? Or did Paul get one? Or Peter?
I keep thinking I heard him say something about that he did. I want to say, don't quote me on it, but I could have sworn.
I know Rick did. But because I think he did a video on it or something on his thing. But yeah, I mean, this thing is going to be massive. It's like 20 pounds. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Gonna need stratosphere to haul that thing.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But yeah, no, it's exciting
it looks
that
good.
We got it.
It looks like it's supposed to. Everyone's like, oh, it's not Masterpiece. It's not supposed to be. It fits exactly with the collection that I'm building. So, yeah, I'm excited for it to get here. Now I got to wait 18 months.
I think, honestly, I kind of have some of the same concerns. Like, I know Rob was talking about this the other day about just the size of it, the cost of it, all those types of things, where it's like, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if it didn't fund. And I feel a little bit like that myself, just because it's like where the heck? I have no idea where I'm going to put this thing at.
It's going to sleep in my bed with me. It's the only place big enough I've got for it, so snuggle up, Unicron.
I mean, because
it looks pretty sharp.
Time.
I'm going to have to learn. I have to adapt.
So here's my question, because this is it for me, is that is Unicron the biggest and most expensive thing in your collection, or will it be when it comes out? Same here.
It would be if I was getting it.
Biggest, yes. Most expensive, like that I've ever spent on one thing, yeah.
No, that's
most
the thing.
of my really valuable stuff is already gone, so.
That's the thing for me too, is that like I've never spent this much. I don't think I've ever spent more than 300 on or around there on a piece. So it's like this is kind of like twice the amount I've ever spent on anything. It's like twice the size. So it's
Yep.
But unless you're into like the really high grade statues, like the higher grade than Lucas is getting, I don't think there really is anything else that is that much in Transformer fandom. Like, what else costs other than buying old G1 stuff that has accelerated in value like crazy? I don't think there's anything that originally was valued at over $600 before.
Yeah. I mean, you could make a case for like lucky draws, maybe. But
yeah.
I don't really count
That's what
those.
I was kind of thinking.
It's like something that was like retail priced. I think the most expensive thing we've gotten so far is 44. Before that, it was 43.
Yeah.
So we've broken a lot of records this year.
Wasn't MP4 Convoy the sleep mode version? Wasn't that like insane?
Oh yeah, that thing was expensive. Anyway, yes. So this is the most expensive thing they've ever made.
I think so. And I can't even really think of anything. Has there been anything third party that came out for more than 600?
Wow.
If you count individual like combiner limbs together, then it would be about the same price. There's a lot of combiners that are that price. Now, usually when they release a box set, like for example, Toy World Devastator, I think that was what, like $450 or something like that. So
this is really pushing the limit on how much Transformers fans are willing to spend on one piece.
Right.
Yeah,
and you have to wait. Yep. Like, when does this come out again? I can't remember.
Spring 2021.
Yeah. So
18 months from now.
Yeah. Speaking of MP4 sleep mode, I found one on eBay. $1,200 just for one.
Cool. Sleep mode. That dude's dead. You're paying for a corpse.
Yeah.
You're paying for a corpse. Such a gentle way to put it, though. Sleep mode.
Sleep. All right, so I backed Unicron. Lucas, you backed it. Anna, did you reverse yourself on it yet?
I did not. Nope.
Jack, did you go in?
No.
I know Peter bought a couple. Rob got one. That's what I know for the cast.
Paul got a few.
Oh, Serge got one.
The only way I could justify backing it right now, personally, is to buy it through one of the third-party sellers that's letting you, finance it over time. And I personally can't justify paying extra.
Yeah. No, I mean,
it was definitely tough to try and figure it out.
But I think in general, I mean, again, for Unicron, and not that like Unicron is I don't know, it's a top character, but it's not, so I think that MP44, like, I could totally see justifying spending the money on that, just because it's freaking Optimus Prime. If you're going to have one centerpiece of your collection, it's going to be him. Whereas Unicron, it's like, okay, you're going to have, like, you're not just going to be by Unicron. Maybe some people, maybe there's a few people like that, but for the most part, I would think that they would have other characters, go first. So I think, again, like, you could get, like, pretty much like the whole wave of Siege. I don't know if we add it all up or whatever. Pretty close. Like, if you're just talking about just the mainline releases, not the exclusives and all that, you could probably get that for the cost of Unicron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, like, I think that's somewhat of a tough. I mean, I think you just have to really you know, and there are at least other Unicrons out there, you know, so it's like up tier, you know, I've got my Armada Unicron, so it's like you there's other ones that you don't have to spend crazy amounts if you want a Unicron, you know.
Yeah, I did see a rumor that the Zeta Unicron's still going to come out, but it's going to be like a not US release, so it's like not officially going to be sold here. That's the rumor I saw.
We'll see.
I think
that excites me.
My bet would be that it's like so like knockoffs and whatnot. There's a lot of knockoffs that certain sellers in the US will sell, but not necessarily through their official store.
Right.
Like that what was that massive Optimus Prime, the Llewellyn one? That's like freaking like the 3 foot tall one that's like
MP10.
That's a knockoff. It's an oversized knockoff of MP10 with like a chunk of diecast in it. And that I think it's like $400 or something, or $300-$400 whatever. And that thing, it's like you can't just go to Big Bad Toy Store and like go plop down on it. You have to, you know, kind of, you know, get it from
dig through the web and find it.
Yeah, I think that's the way Core Star might end up being. Which is okay for those people who'd rather do that.
I mean, the funny thing is I actually think that Core Star is going to look better because you know, again, the big thing with Unicron is all of the pancakes or whatever, like on his back and his legs and whatever. So I think I think the Hasbro one's going to definitely look more impressive. But I think that overall the Zeta one's going to look cleaner, and I think it may fit, you know, it's going to fit in a DTOF, whereas like the Unicron one's not. So it's kind of like, you know, hey, I'm glad we have choices.
I think the Zeta one's going to look nicer. I don't think it's going to actually be nicer. Like, I think the actual Hasbro one will be a very nice figure that, you know, you're not going to break as easy and whatnot. The Zeta is probably going to feel like a giant third-party masterpiece figure that's kind of fragile.
Well, and that's the thing
Hasbro
too,
will be robust.
I think that I'm really interested to see how this turns out, like at the price point, because, you know, one thing that I've been, you know, upset with the Titans, that I don't really feel like the quality has been that great for the price point. Like, they've been okay, but you can definitely tell it's like, okay, they had to make sacrifices in order to fit this price point. I think that the new Omega Supreme is the only one that I've gotten to where I don't really feel that way. Like, it actually, the new Omega Supreme is just like, it's amazing. Like, the quality on it is really good. It feels really solid. Like, there's a lot of, you know, the paint's done well. All that. It doesn't have some stupid sticker sheet that's going to peel off. Like, so.
Oh, dope. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah, mine will be here on Tuesday, so I hope I can agree with you. He looks great. I'm excited.
I need to find one.
I thought it looked neat for the, like, 2 minutes I saw it.
We're going to come back to Omega later because I got some conspiracy theories about the Comic-Con reveals. Oh, yeah.
So I guess we'll transition over to our Comic-Con reveals here. So let me get my
That's a lot more fun.
Share screen going here. So okay,
Get ready to see Christian versus Anna.
Right. So,
we're gonna fight. Awesome.
So
you said you were going to fight the other day, so I'm ready.
First off, I
find a weapon here.
I was going to start off with the trading card game. So the new trading card game is coming out November 8th. And so I just want to cover this just really quick because I know none of you guys care. But
yeah, somewhat. I'm kind of tempted to get into it.
It's a fun game.
I'll probably play it.
And I think that it's a fun way to collect some of these characters too. Like, there's some crazy characters that we have not gotten in toy form that are on the cards, and the art looks really neat. Like, they've commissioned a lot of the former IDW artists to you know, to do the cards, and so you know, I just think it's cool. You know,
that is an excellent point, Lucas, because through the card game I have a Flame War And if I were to want a figure of that character, I would have to pay for one of the very expensive on the secondary market BotCon figures, or for the kind of crappy Prime one. So it is a way to get those figures that might be, I don't know, almost more healthy.
It's true. They're a lot easier to store. They're flat.
Yeah. Right. Flat. Exactly. I think it just really depends on your collecting. Like, if you just want to go and buy a couple packs, like, that's good. If, say that you start buying a few cases, it gets a lot more expensive if you're trying to collect
anyone
everything.
Who's done that.
No. So.
Have they shown Trypticon yet? Because I know he's coming only if you buy a booster box.
Have they shown them off? Yeah, they have.
They have? So, okay.
But
I haven't seen it.
I feel like the Trypticon is actually going to be pretty easy to come by, though, because there's a lot of people that are into the card game they're going to buy more than one booster box. Well, it's like, what are you going to do with an extra Trypticon? So it's tough on those big cards, though, too, because it's like you have to like go. A few people make the larger card protectors, the top loaders. But those are somewhat expensive as well. But anyway.
Yeah.
There was one card I liked from this round of reveals.
Which one was that?
Lucas, so we can look at them. I like Mudflap.
I know.
I don't know. So I have them like they're on the table. I'm trying to. There we go. Okay, I've got Mudflap up.
Yeah, I like Mudflap because he's a Cybertron character. Bringing him back. Cybertron again. It's great. We got 2 Cybertron figures in the line right now. Got a Cybertron figure in the card game. It's going to be great.
That's fine.
Okay. So there you go.
Like
There's
Cybertron.
our obligatory coverage of.
And are you excited about new cards?
Me? Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, the card game is somewhat fun. I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy other card games, so I'm not getting into it too much. But it's fine. It's a little slow for my taste.
Well, so what happens, just FYI, when we say that it's too slow for Anna, is that she builds the most defensive, slowest deck possible, right? So, like, when you're complaining about it being slow, it's just because of the way that you build it. Like, if you built a more offensive deck, then the game would go a lot quicker.
So, you just shift the blame to me for making the game long.
I'm just saying that, like, for those people that, have not ever played the game before, so you have different strategies that you can do. And so it doesn't, like, I think it's actually goes pretty, can be pretty quick. It's pretty easy to pick up. Like, there's a lot of nuance and variance in it for people that are, expert card game, have played card games for a long time and whatnot. But for those of us, such as myself, who have never played a card game before in their life, I felt like it was pretty easy for me to get into. And I'm able to play the game with my son, and we're able to have a lot of fun with it. So I really enjoy the game. I think it's a neat alternative that they've done, and I hope that they continue to support the game and have lots of waves going into the future. So we'll see how long it lasts. It seems like it's been a lot more popular than what they were expecting. I think part of the reason of that, and I know Anna, you've talked about this, where you don't know why the cards are so valuable, but I think part of it is there's a lot of Transformer collectors out there who don't play the game. And so you have people that just are like, I want a card of Grimlock. Like, and so then they buy, whatever. But then you also have the people who are playing the game that say, oh, well, Grimlock's a really good character in the game, so I'm gonna get him too. So you've got a lot of people collecting it.
And that collector thing makes it really different, because in a game like Magic or any of the other card games, you're going to want to build a deck that has multiples of a single card in it. And the most valuable cards happen to also be the most useful cards. So therefore, they become, valuable but not insanely valuable, and they're rare but not hyper rare. Whereas with these Transformers cards, since people just want to have one, making it like a 1 in 90 rarity for getting it out of a pack is okay because people just want to own one so they can put it in a case. And I don't know, what do people do? Do they put them on their walls? Do they put them in binders? Do they wear them as clothing? I don't know.
I would assume mainly binders. I would think, like, if you're not playing the game, I would think you'd be putting them into binders.
Just sticky tack them to your walls.
But I think, again,
I'm gonna think it's clothing. I'm gonna choose to believe that.
They do a good job of, like, most of the characters, you can get them one of the versions, at least, like, as a common or an uncommon or whatever, where it's not like 1 for 90. I think the super rares, I think, are more like that, but most of the characters are. So if you just want an Optimus Prime or you just want a Bumblebee, like, they've got plenty of those in there, so you can go ahead and collect that or your favorite character, and you're not going to have to spend a ton of money. And then there's a lot of people that buy them off of eBay too. So anyway,
you'll pay a lot for those ultra rares there. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's enough with that. Let's go ahead and get back to the real coverage here. So first off, I was going to go ahead and these Sci-Fi. They had their reveal earlier in the day, and so the main thing I want to talk about from that, of course, is we got the announcement of our next Titan figure.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Oh yep.
And so that Titan figure, of course, is not Trypticon. Sorry, Scorponok. Yeah,
Scorponok.
We were talking Trypticon earlier, so. But yeah, no, it's so they showed off the double headmaster from Scorponok. I don't think they actually showed the head, did they?
They
didn't show him in head. They just showed the character.
Yeah, the double headmaster is new for Scorponok. He didn't have that in G1.
Yeah, but that seems to work the best for the for the figure itself to have.
It worked well for Fort Max. It worked well for Grand Max. It'll work well here too.
I think it will.
So it's going to be like Zarek and Mega Zarek, and then
Mini Zarek.
I guess Scorponok. I don't know. They'll name it something, or maybe they won't. They could name it nothing.
I'm sure they'll name it something.
They'll name it something.
But yeah, so
Scorponok is coming. Everyone who doubted, sorry, it's Scorponok time.
Right.
I did not doubt. I was hoping he would be a commander though, because I wanted a smaller knock.
I know why you wanted that.
Just
didn't make sense. Go get the Energon one. It's actually really worth it.
I don't like the Energon one. I used to own it.
What? That one? That's a good figure.
It has stupid arms.
They're less stupid if you put the pylon up on his neck. Anyway, it's weird.
I got this one for a small Scorponok. I'm good.
Right. I just did a show with that one with you, so yeah.
I got a small knock. It's good. I'll sit down.
Yeah, Scorponok is coming. That's very exciting. Everyone's pretty excited. Have you guys seen what the community seems to want for the Titan after this one?
Who's that?
People want Grandis next.
That would be exciting.
That's a deep cut.
See that?
But if they want to finish out the trilogy with, another big Micromaster compatible thing, Grandis is your dude.
I don't know.
I still want Tidal Wave.
Tidal Wave is going to be a commander. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Still. I still want a Tidal Wave.
Tidal Wave and Broadside.
I want Tidal Wave as well.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I kind of like the Titans Return one, but I need a new one to where it split into 3 different components and still combine and actually have articulation.
It'll be a commander class.
Rather than...
So what they'll do is they'll do a USS Flag for the the next funding, and then they'll do a remold of the flag as in, what do you think?
As Tidal Wave, but you just stand it up.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
So
they don't make
you
it a
could have,
It doesn't
transformer, they just
transform.
you
paint
can
them at
have,
the
you can have
bottom.
a tidal
Image
wave that
of
is
them
the
on the deck.
size
You
of
stand
a.
it up.
Like the Zycast cars.
Yeah.
Split it up.
I want the next Titan after Scorponok to be Raiden, but
I think Raiden would be really, really cool. Like, I would love that because you would have, one, they haven't done a lot of trains in Transformers, and transforming trains is always, fun. It's a combiner, so I think that that's always good as well. I don't know as far as the size. Like, would it?
it'd
I'm
be
not
like
sure on the
Devastator
scale
sized.
chart, right? But like, does that fit? Like, if you look in the
No,
whatever
it does not fit. Predaking didn't fit. Devastator didn't fit. Omega doesn't fit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Trains are big.
Trains are big.
Yeah.
It'll be good enough. And you could put like a whole bunch of little dudes with them. I mean, it'll be fun. Make a Raiden with a lot of tracks and ramps that connect to the city and Omega and Fort Max, and
And all
it
the
makes
ramps
so
should be
much
people that turn into ramps.
People can turn into ramps
So-
if they
So
want.
my one question, just in general, about Raiden or any of those is that it seems like Hasbro has not done many characters that are Japan only, that didn't come out in the U.S. fiction. That's the only thing that I would be worried about. I think the next one realistically is probably going to be Skylinks. I think they're going to do a big one for that, but I know it's not as exciting as some of the other ones that we're talking about. That's just crazy stuff. I don't know whether or not U.S. customers are going to really we're going to think it's super cool, right? Like all of us, to get any of those, but I don't know that the average consumer is really going to care. And so when you go to whoever to try to pitch this thing, the various retailers, they're going to be like, no, there's no way we're going to support that.
Yep. Sorry, bud. You're done.
I don't know. I think I would rather get 6 trains than I would, a weird dinosaur bird Lynx guy. I love Skylinks though. Don't get me wrong. Just
I was fine with the Combiner Wars version.
Eh.
The
No, it's
Combiner
okay.
ones I think was cool. Like I did like
was
it
cool.
as a torso, but
yeah,
it was
It's a great
it needs to be
torso.
bigger. I got the
it's
AMC
so
one,
tiny.
so I'm good.
Yeah,
there.
the MC one's cool too. So
Yeah, if there was just an oversized Hasbro one, I would have gotten that too.
but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
Ooh, Star Saber.
will they even have a a Titan after this too? Or will they start redoing them? Like, I think I could see Metroplex potentially getting redone.
Oh
just 'cause-
no!
No.
Why would you put that out into the universe? No, don't do it. That'd be horrible. Ugh.
So,
Ugh.
all
A lot
right,
of people
so,
be like-
Anyway, yes, Scorponok, yay. What's next?
all right, we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes here. So, we got Transformers Earthrise, and so
I was gonna say rise, not wise.
apparently I can't pronounce
So,
properly.
They're heading Earthwise.
can I talk about the name very briefly so that we
Yes.
know what's going on? Okay. So, Earthrise, when you combine the name with the look of the toys, it makes you think that's going to take place on Earth. That's not the case, according to John Warden, who said that this is the journey from Cybertron. The siege is over. They are on their way to Earth, but what crazy stuff do they find in space on the way there? So that's what Earthrise is.
So they are able,
Go on.
or they are combining space stuff or whatever with Earth.
We're getting a galaxy map
We will see.
with every figure.
We are getting the galaxy map, which feels very Cybertron-y to me.
Yeah, I think
It
that
does.
would be really cool to have that. To have if we could pull from other planets, like the Junkion planet, or I don't know, the Beast Wars technically was on Earth, right? But from a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you combine it with Jungle Planet or Animatros from Cybertron, then you got a thing there. You got Velocitron, you got Gigantian, you got Zone and Micro, and Gaia.
Actually, if we do get another Titan Metroplex, it should be a Cybertron-esque.
Mhm.
Ah.
Ooh,
That's the
that'd be cool.
Metroplex I want to see.
That'd be
would-
interesting.
That would be cool.
what was
Seeing
he
how
called
we're
in Japan?
can't remember the name.
Megalo Convoy.
I
Megalo
think
Convoy.
so. But anyways, I was saying that because now I think of it. Now that we're kind of getting like Unicron trilogy figures now, like we got the Cybertron Prime and Siege, we're getting Hotshot, we got the Armada Starscream from the Generations line a few years ago. Maybe get more Generations updated Unicron trilogy stuff. I'm game for that, and seeing how we're actually getting the new Armada Prime.
Well,
I'm still
here's
concerned
my
about that one.
question. Here's my question, just in general. Is that it seems like that what Hasbro is doing is they're splitting the lineup, and they're saying that if you have like 4 figures in a wave, that 2 of the figures are going to be like classic core characters. You know, your Optimus, Megatron, Starscream, you know, et cetera, right? And then 2 of them in the assortment are going to be something new and funky, right? So like on this, you know, this particular wave, they're doing Micromaster bases and things like that. So my question is that do you think that they're going to continue, like, you know, as we keep going, like past you know, the last leg of this trilogy, which we think is going to be G1. In the next trilogy, do you think that it's going to continue to be G1, but with half of it as, you know, homaging something else like Energon or Beast Wars or whatever it may be, Unicron trilogy or whatever? Or do you think that they're going to go full and say it like an entire line is going to be Beast Wars?
I know what my hope would be, but you know, I don't think they will ever do something that's not G1. At least not at its core G1.
I agree.
At least for Generations. I mean, there's other stuff like, you know, Cyberverse is not G1 and Prime is not G1, but you know, beyond that, you know, classics or Generations will always be G1-ish.
Yeah.
Cyberverse is still pretty G1-ish. Like
Mhm.
it has a lot of basis. Not in the story, but in the actual way the characters look.
My theory, and of course, like this can all change, right? Because it's like if Warden and those kind of guys, you know, step down eventually, and someone else takes over, like they're going to have a completely different direction. So that's what's up, Christian? Yes.
That'll be me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, when Christian takes over, there'll be a completely different direction. But I think for the most part, what it seems to me that they're doing now is that, you know, previously they're always coming up with new iterations, and that they really wanted, like, every new Transformers line, it kind of had to be its own thing, its own look. Like, they're going to reinvent a lot of the characters, right? Like, you know, if you're talking about the movies, Beast Wars, any of that kind of thing. But I think that what they've decided to do is that they're taking the evergreen characters, that they're saying there is an evergreen look to Prime, to all these different characters, and that they want everything to, like, it can look different, but it's still, you're going to have a Red Truck Prime, you're going to have a, you know, whatever the various characters may be. I think they're going to start doing that. So that, you know, like, for example, Cyberverse, where they go and they're throwing all these different characters in, like Cheetor and whatever, just kind of, you know, Slipstream or whatever, in with the core ones. And I think that that's going to be what you're going to see going forward, at least for the next several years with Transformers, is that we're going to have the core guys, and those core guys are going to look at least a little bit like, you know, the G1. And, you know, there may be a different spin on it, but I don't know. That's my opinion.
Okay,
I do too. And what again?
I'm kind of good with that, maybe.
The only bit of a bummer to me, and you guys know how I feel about original designs. Like, I want to see more original designs, and it doesn't really allow for a lot of new characters, which is kind of a bummer to me. It's like, you know, this new Earthrise line is mostly characters that we see quite often, and only one you could kind of push as being a new character, right?
He's a totally new character.
I guess.
Oh wait, are you talking Ironworks or Sound Barrier?
Ironworks.
Both?
Oh, well,
I
Sound
guess-
Barrier
There's
is
two.
completely new.
Yeah, I guess we
Yeah.
should count the
We're gonna
the
get
Target
there.
Master.
We're gonna get there for the Target Master because that seemed like that was everyone's favorite figure, right?
Everyone's least
It's gonna
favorite
be the
favorite.
best. I'm so excited for him.
It's fine.
So I was gonna say here. So I'm showing like the whole diorama that they did for the for the event for New York Comic Con, and I just want to say like this. They did an amazing job on this diorama, and it almost like kind of looks to me like some of the original packaging that they had. When you got the checklist, back in like '86 or whatever, that it kind of reminds me of that a lot. I'm sure
It
they're
reminds me of commercials too.
so.
Yeah, that's cool. So
Yeah.
Anna was talking about Ironworks. Ironworks is a G1 Micromaster playset who came with the character Ironworks, who now is Iron Tread from the Micromaster 10 pack. So Ironworks himself is now a dude. He's a dude
Yes.
and a station. It's
Yeah,
a new
dude.
direction for weaponizers. So we had Cog and Six Gun and Brunt and the Power Dashers, and now we're gonna have Micromaster base dudes as weaponizers. It's gonna be great.
If I could have 3
Oh, hey.
seconds of story thinking for just a second, I'm really curious if the bases are going to be sentient.
I hope so.
Because I don't know, he's kind of got like a visor mono eye looking thing that could say drone. So it could be interesting if they were just like, drone bases that worked for the Micromasters or something. I don't know. Just trying to think about the story that's going to come with it.
I
Like
love
2
thinking about the
phrases.
story that comes with it. So, yeah.
Wait, are we actually going to get a story with these things?
I
Well,
love
the
to.
Netflix show is starting soon. That's supposed to go with these toys. So theoretically,
When did they actually announce the date for that?
it's spring 2020, as far as we know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I really hope that they actually the Netflix show catches up and that it's not just like after everything all the toys are out that they're actually,
Right.
kind of doing that. So
So Micromasters again. Micromasters seems to be like the big deal of this line. They were in
Yeah.
Siege and they were there and they did stuff, but they seem to be front and center this time because everything it looks like is coming with a ramp that goes with the bases. Ironworks is a base. Warden has said we're going to get a couple more. There's at least 3 more, and there'll be repaints and stuff. And Scorponok will be compatible. Omega is compatible, and there is a character who is dedicated to the Micromaster system, and his name is Sound Barrier. He's a
Where-
dude.
I'm trying
Who
to
turns
find
into a
Yeah,
ram.
dude.
the picture. I'm trying to find the picture of Sound Barrier, and I don't know if they don't have it. Where is?
Find him. He's the best.
Oh. Sorry,
But,
I figured that I picked the TFW because they had the most stuff. Let's see.
Apparently, TFW doesn't care about Sound Barrier, the best character ever invented.
Right. Wait, let me see. I'm trying to find. Here we go.
Okay, so that's Sound Barrier. Again,
Just
he's
so
a
I
dude
understand,
who's a
Christian,
ramp.
real
What's
fast.
up?
Hold on.
Is this a best character like how you think that I'm going to wear that Clear Mirage as a necklace? Or is this the best character like you actually love it?
In the sense that you're definitely going to wear that Clear Mirage as a necklace, it's 100% happening. Yeah, it's the best character.
Okay,
Darn it.
good.
Oh, here we go. I
Try
actually
it, or
found
son.
one.
You're going to do it.
Let me see.
It's
TF
be your
Wiki.
favorite figure.
So TF Wiki, we're showing off Sound Barrier. So I mean, look at this. Like, he is a target master. But he actually has 3 modes in it. Like, how amazing is this? He can be a shield. He can be a guy, and he can be a ram.
I don't mind
This
him
is-
being a shield because that's a straight up body horror. It's like I volunteered to just be your barrier.
I
Horrible.
will
This is-
protect you.
This is like a result of one of the biggest requests from the original Micromasters, and then kind of talked about since then to have extra ramps, because in G1 you could build all the places together, but you could only use the ramps that came with the sets. And there's only a finite amount of them. So a lot of people in the intervening years since have picked up more ramps, just extra pieces, extra parts, parted out, and got extra ramps to make more city configurations. So now You can just buy a whole bunch of sound barriers. They're very cheap because they're the Battlemaster class, and you can have all the ramps you could possibly want.
Well, yeah, and that's
great.
one of the things, like the Omega Supreme, I would love to get more track. And I think that, I don't know if Nanef was potentially going to produce extra track, but like, you'd like to actually see a lot of that so that you can kind of, connect all the cities. But at least with this, yeah, you might have to buy a lot, but at least you'll be able to do it.
Well, and if you look at the diorama, I think there's one on the left side of it. There's a piece on the left side where it's got like several sound barriers attached together to make a road. So
Yeah.
Micromaster ramps could not attach together, but looks like sound barrier is going to be able to, or looks like these Micromaster ramps and sound barrier are going to be able to attach together to make longer sections.
So I will say, though, it is somewhat, and a lot of the fans were kind of making fun of Sound Barrier because of the fact that he doesn't really have a transformation. Like, he just have a ramp on his back.
Turns around.
Yeah, exactly. You just like,
He
all
was
right,
hating
here
on
you go,
Sound
just lay
Barrier.
down. So.
He's an essential ingredient to any Micromaster city.
So, I was going to say, Antoine is talking about the Beast Wars and whether or not we'd want to see an entire line of Beast Wars. Like, I would love
Obviously,
that. Like,
yes.
I think I would 100% buy that because I don't want to spend $100 or $250 or whatever the Megatron thing is. But I would absolutely eat up. Like, if I could get Beast Wars at $20, at 50 or whatever. And I thought that those Generations figures that they released in the Thrilling 30 series was great. Like Rhinox and Rat Trap and Wasp Banana, those were amazing.
I don't really want a full line of Beast Wars. A couple's fine.
But then
because I want more original characters.
Then you could get Beast Machines.
Who wants Beast Machines to come back?
Just give me a Botanica and a Night Scream real quick, and then move on. And a Jet Storm.
Scream. Botanica's fine.
So here's my question is that, and I don't have an exact list, but like you're like, oh, I want new characters, right? It seems like that they are putting out like a handful of new characters at a time. Not a lot. Sound Barrier, for example. But like, how many Transformer? Like, if you add up all the fiction, like if you add up Energon and Transformers G1 and Beast Wars and all that kind of thing, how many characters do we have? I mean, there's several hundred characters already, right? So why do we have to have a ton of new characters? Like,
so it's not so much that I want specifically new characters; it's that I want new designs. Like, I don't mind the whole like old character wearing a new design thing. That's not the direction we've been going for a while. So all I can do is kind of desperately beg for a new character once per line.
Yeah, I don't mind a reimagining of the characters.
Reimagining's fun.
Okay, I just had a stupid thought. I kind of want to see a reimagining of Power Link from Energon now, for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, that's Anna's favorite combining gimmick.
It's the best.
I just want to see that now. All of a sudden, Anna was talking about characters like that you knew and love in a different form, and for some reason I got to thinking, I'm like, I for some reason want an Energon Ironhide now, but like in a new form, and I got to thinking, I'm like, how about they just like reboot the whole Power Link thing? And I'm like, oh, that I can kind of see that making a comeback.
That could be cool if they did it better.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of how that's gonna.
I just think about, like, you go from what a large deluxe Voyager figure looked like back in Combiner Wars to what they look like now in Siege, and you look at the difference between Scorponok's Headmaster and Cerebros, then, you know, at least from the prototype we saw, the Scorponok Headmaster looked really cool, and it looked to have all the Siege articulation that you expect, which they literally said. So, I mean, just going back and remaking that Power Link shirts and pants gimmick with modern sensibilities and modern looks for the toys might actually be really cool, even though the gimmick itself was a little weird.
think it could be doable.
From a fiction perspective, it's more body horror, so I like it. It's weird. It's like I'm going to become this person's pants. This is weird.
I was watching some video yesterday, and the guy had that. It was a stop motion video, and they had Hotshot and Inferno, I think it was. And they were like, Hotshot wanted to be up top, and he's like, "Can we switch?" And it's like, "Okay," but they couldn't walk because Inferno didn't have any knees. That's the only thing I'm kind of thinking about is if they somehow reboot that, how is like articulation going to work? And because Hotshot honestly was horrible with articulation, and obviously when both
any of them were good.
Inferno was actually pretty decent. But yeah, when they got to their modes, that's the main thing I'm thinking about.
I think it's about time for characters like Hotshot and the Minicons to make a resurgence. I mean, Jack, you grew up with those guys. I did too.
Damn right.
It's our time now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think that they're going to keep going back to the G1 well. As you can see here by our reveals, that it is G1 all over the place. So we have we starting off with Wheeljack. So we're getting a new Wheeljack toy.
Wheeljack.
And the actual toy that they're showing off, or that they had in the TFW 2005 pictures, doesn't have his wings flipped up. But if you look, his back spoiler actually flips into wings, and they made those wings silver. So like the inside of it is silver, so it actually looks like the Wheeljack character. So.
So I've seen people respond to both the Wheeljack and the Optimus in that the Wheeljack looks like MP Wheeljack, but simplified down to a generations figure. And then the same thing with the new Optimus. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you like the fact that they're sticking to kind of looking like the MP look, but simpler, or do you dislike that because it's less variety?
That's what I noticed about the Power of the Primes Optimus, is that they kind of look like MP10, and that's why I pretty much got them for like $4.
I would include the new grapple in that too.
Yeah, it does.
So I mean, the
grapple
thing
looks better than the MP though.
If you think about it, like Hasbro's not releasing Masterpiece. Like all of the Masterpiece, I mean they were before when Toys R Us was around, but they would release it years later after Takara and all that. So like this is really the first time that we're getting, this kind of stuff from Hasbro directly. So I don't mind it. I think it's cool because, again, that I think that most people, like the average consumer, like when I talk to other people my age that aren't into Transformers, like they think it's amazing. They're like, oh my gosh, I can get a Starscream, or I can get, Wheeljack or whatever. I remember having that as a kid, like, and now I can buy this for my kid. Whereas, like, they're probably not going to do that for Masterpiece because, like, most average people are not going to go search out, the stuff on the internet. So I think it's really cool.
It's interesting. It kind of limits the number of looks you can have in your collection if you're into like having different looks and designs, but it's still interesting to do it that way, especially since it kind of lets, Lucas has just been talking about for ages now about how Siege is kind of like, if you really just want toys to play with, it kind of makes you not see the need for Masterpiece anymore. So I could kind of see that being, since it's a lower price point and it's more accessible, that being better to almost be like, well, you can look at MP44 and be like, ooh, I want that so bad, but you can get something that's at least similar in design for a reasonable number.
Yep, I think this follows suit on that, and I think it's a good trend.
Mm-hmm.
Masterpiece is already moving in a direction I don't want to go anyway, both in price and in aesthetics. So sticking to classics is going to be my bag for a while.
That's been me for the longest time.
And I think really, I mean, for myself, just being able to enjoy the stuff with my kids. Because, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take MP44 out and have my kid mess with it. Like it's an impossibility that my 8-year-old will be able to transform the new Masterpiece Optimus. He might be able to do MP10, but there's just no way that. But like looking at this though, I mean, God, the truck mode of the new Optimus just looks incredible.
The
It does.
exposed
It looks
shoulder
good.
joints are a bit, exposed shoulder joints, not the best. But beyond that, I can't really see any problem with it. I think it looks great.
So my biggest complaint on the Masterpiece Optimus, if you look at him, is the gray hands. Like that is the only thing that really kills it for me. And so in the promotional pictures, they were showing the figure off as having blue hands, but the actual toy itself is going to come with gray hands. And I guess the reason for that, they said, was because of just the way the molding worked out, that they couldn't, I guess, somehow get it so that it would have blue hands. And so again, that kind of reminds you of this is a $50 price point item, not a not
$450.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet I know what they did. I bet they put the gates for the molds for the trailer on a separate piece than they did the robot parts. That way, so the only blue parts he has, I think, are the trailer bits, or his legs blue too. I'm not looking at
it. The legs are blue.
Never mind. I'm wrong. Don't worry about it.
And his head.
Okay, never mind. I'm wrong.
So the little repair drone that comes, I'm trying to find a picture of the.
Anna, what are you saying?
Do they have a picture of the repair drone on here? I'm trying to find. Here we go. So, the actual repair drone itself is gray now too. Originally, the pictures were blue of that as well.
Huh. I didn't know that. So what I'm curious about is, can you see, because I'm not looking at the pictures right now, but can you see from any of the photos if his hands are like Jetfire's? Because they have pins where the finger joint would be. I'm curious if they have a little pop-out weapon holder.
No.
Do not see it.
They don't.
No.
Oh, that would be so cool if they did.
Be really cool. That was a good hand design.
I know.
No, Optimus doesn't have it.
Often.
I want to see a standalone roller to go with this thing.
That'll
Roller
happen.
could be
Yeah,
a full-fledged
the roller
dude
would
now.
be nice.
It'd be great.
So somebody brought a roller to this thing and put him in the diorama. So everyone was confused and thought that they're making a new roller, but they're not. It's totally like someone's roller from the Takara set from a few years ago.
But maybe. So this is just crazy trying to guess what's going to happen next. But since we got all the little friends for Metroplex and Trypticon and everybody as new figures, maybe we could get a new roller toy.
Yep. And he can
As
come
a
in gray
transforming
and
person.
blue. Depending on which one you want. And it comes with a gas hose. Why not?
Now you do two versions of it. And I think it could be a small deluxe like Clip Jumper is.
Mm-hmm. Particularly if it's a weaponizer.
Yeah.
You can put in different configurations.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's
Or no.
very weird, again, about the gray hands. The fact that the Power of the Primes one that we got, the hands were also gray of the big Prime.
Yeah.
And then now this one is too. And it just, I don't know what exact, I don't know. It seems like they could have done something, but, whatever. Get over it.
Yeah, so
Anything else that we need to talk about from the reveals?
So I want to talk about Hoist, as well, because Hoist is the best freaking one. If you look at this car mode, I mean,
Truck.
this thing is just incredible. The amount of
the truck
paint
looks really good.
And it connects to Micromaster ramps.
Yep.
Eh.
I don't know if there's a picture of that. I know they were showing that off, where the little back truck part, so it extends out and then it connects. But the thing I
the
always
towing
wonder,
bit.
with some of these characters, right? Like Hoist just looks so incredible with like, you know, the level of paint that you have on him and all that, right? I just always wonder, like, is there someone on the design team like of these where they're like, this is my favorite character and I want to put all the budget into this guy instead of, you know, some of these other guys?
Anything else?
The answer is yes. Do you remember between like 2004 and 2010 or so, we got a bunch of swerves?
Yes.
That's because Joe Kide was on the team and Swerve was his favorite character.
It's funny. I like that hoist, and I've bought several third-party hoists trying to find one that I don't hate, and I haven't been able to. So I'm hopeful that I'll get this one and be like, I don't hate it, and then get rid of all the other ones.
Same.
Now one thing is he only has one hand. The other one is this little blaster thingy.
That's accurate, so I'm good.
Yeah.
It's not the worst.
So just FYI. So
Thank you.
You know, now looking at this, like, does this guy actually have a little bit of battle damage on him?
It looked like it, yeah.
I'm looking at the arm of Hoist, one of his arms, and it looks like it's like kind of dirty.
They're supposed to have continued that, so yeah.
Oh boy, I'm excited for that.
And what about Cliff Jumper? Did you like Cliff Jumper?
I like Cliff Jumper.
I thought he looked good.
Where's
I
the
think
Cliff?
it's cool.
So the car mode looks pretty sweet.
It's very Porsche.
Yep.
Yes.
And it comes with like a massive blaster, too, like the character usually does. But it's nice they're coming with that. And are they also coming with skis, Christian?
Yeah, he comes with skis.
So
Those weren't prototyped out for the show, but yes, he will have skis.
Car skis.
Technically, they're called hydrofoils, but yeah, they're skis.
Yeah, he's really small, and he doesn't actually come with that much. So, I mean, people are going to nag about it.
okay, so I got a question. Does Hoist come with two hands or just one? I swear that I thought I saw online that he only has the one, but people are saying
My viewers are saying two.
I feel that blaster is just removable, so you can have two hands. Otherwise, if you just want the one hand, you can just slide it over and be good and whoosh.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah.
right.
I
I mean,
figured
that's
right.
how I would do it too. I just thought I saw that it was only because they didn't show it off.
The way it was looking was like the blaster was pegged into the side of his orange back deal. So I'm guessing
Right.
it's. Yeah, the way it looks like it just slides
Yeah.
over a hand.
He just wears
It
it.
probably does. You're right. It probably does because you can see
'Cause
a
if you
little
look-
bit of green into like the hand itself. Like there's a little green in there, and so that like it. Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, if you look at the back shot, looking from the back towards the way the blaster looks,
Oh,
it's
you're
open
right.
enough, and you can see the post, so it's most likely
You're
gonna.
right. Okay. Well, thank you in the comments for correcting me on that.
Good, that's perfect.
Yay.
Let's see. I was gonna show. Where's Cliff Jumper? Come on.
Cliff
Here
Jumper's
we
cool.
go. Yeah. So
Cliff
the
Jumper annoys me a little bit, and not because of his size the way you think. It's just that he's now the new size for mini cars, which kind of makes all of my other mini cars like Sea Spray and Brawn and Gears and Huffer, all those guys that we got in the last trilogy, they're kind of obsolete now.
Yeah.
I like them.
I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how big he is. Like, but I'm okay with a few guys. Like, if they redo like Braun and Cliff Jumper and B and whatnot, I'm okay with those guys being bigger. But then the other one's not.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to be that much bigger than them.
He looked pretty small,
I
Yeah.
hope so and not at the same time.
which I'm
Yeah,
sure
I guess
people
from a
are
price
gonna
point perspective, we don't want him to be small. But from a fitting with everything perspective, being small is cool.
Yes.
right. But he comes with like a ton of accessories. Like, I don't know.
It's not a ton.
3 accessories.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a ton.
He comes with some accessories.
An adequate number, perchance.
slightly more than adequate because of the skis.
Skis.
Anyway, he looks great, and
He does
it'll
look
actually be a good cliff jumper toy that's readily available. Whereas even, before, it's been really hard to get a G1 style cliff jumper that doesn't suck. So,
Well, that's the thing is that the cliff jumpers that have come out that are the third party ones, like I haven't really liked any of them, honestly.
yeah, none of them are perfect.
So I'm kind of excited. I think the only thing that you could say on this guy is the feet for cliff jumper are somewhat annoying, and then the fact that the chest is upside down, or the windshield is upside down for the chest is slightly annoying too. But
Same thing I've been saying about the newbie coming out is that all of bumblebees and cliff jumpers all have bad feet. So just pick your poison of which bad feet you want. And I think this one looks like his bad feet pose well, so that's fine.
well, I think if you're going to talk about big feet anyway, let's bring in MP45 Bumblebee because he's got some fairly large feet there.
He's got some really big feet, right? And they're not good looking either. At least these are like flat and solid feet.
Yeah.
The thing is, lots of Transformers have massive feet. You know what it does? It makes them stand up better. So whatever.
Yeah.
Better than not having sculpted feet like this dummy.
But yeah, no, I think. Oh, we forgot to. We haven't talked about Starscream yet.
I finally know what you mean when you said that.
Yeah, he's a feet.
Now I understand. I got
It's
it.
just dumb.
I understand.
It's just his
Yeah,
dumb.
he needs to go to the foot store.
Okay,
Nice
got
feet.
it. I understand now. I really was confused when you were saying that last week.
Well, thank goodness. Someone wants to sell me some shoes to put on the bottom of them. That'll be great.
Okay.
Nice.
At
see
least
some
I
doll
don't
shoes
get
on 'em.
just don't get arachnids like go-go boot things to where you can't stand. So
Right?
See, Rob in the chat has to justify his masterpiece stuff. So he says that it looked darn if it doesn't look awesome. Yeah, it does look great from the front, Rob. So you got that.
That's
going
it.
He
for
also
you.
took a long time saying that that you shouldn't try to equate masterpiece and generation stuff earlier. If you saw that little rant,
Right.
I mean, you shouldn't. They're different.
I think that you shouldn't, but at the same time, I just try to think of the perspective from someone who, I'm like straight in the middle class of middle class, and it's still hard to justify buying every masterpiece figure, from a finance perspective. So for people who don't have a whole lot of resources, having to sit around and just look at all these masterpiece figures looking so perfect, it is kind of nice that they still design cues from the robot modes for the generations figures so that you can have something that kind of sort of at least looks like an homage to the masterpiece figure if you don't have the money to lay down $450 on Optimus.
So again, though, this is the reason, I think part of the reason why Masterpiece is not releasing a zillion figures is because, again, that when they announced the news of the MP44 Optimus Prime, you had several months to be able to save up for it. And now, we have B that is going to be delayed until Christmas. So then there you go. There's your Christmas present. And then, your Hoist or not Hoist, I'm sorry, Hound is, coming out later too. It's like, I think that part of the reason why we only get a few of those a year is again, because of that is that it's like, if you're only in for that line, then, you can afford it. You just have to, save up for those. And I think, again, if the Masterpiece, if you've been collecting that for, how many years has Masterpiece been around now? 6 years, 7 years, something like that, of the newer stuff. It's, if you take it over that many years, then
1,000 years. Forever.
So, what do you guys think about Starscream? The new Starscream.
You want to watch me sell a bunch of Tetra Jets? That's what I think about it.
I like them. Yeah. Now I just need Thundercracker. Without a doubt, it's gonna happen. But
the more that I look at this this new one though, I kind of like the Tetrajet one. Like this one obviously is more accurate, but like there's no waist swivel in this one. It has a huge hole like in the sides of the chest. So I don't know, like.
I just really love disagree with Christian, but I have to agree with Lucas on this one because I look at it and it's like I kind of like it. I still think I kind of like the Classics mold better. And I think I like my Tetrajets. They're fun to play with.
I don't know. I have to wait until I get it in hand and everything. I mean, obviously, this thing's not coming out till next spring, so we'll see what happens then.
This thing looks like it'll give my Classics ones a run for their money.
I just like that it's the proper size.
You have them on like a butterfly display stand. It's so cool. Don't change that.
I'll just have these up instead. Actually, it took me way too long to get that together, so I don't think I'll be able to get rid of the Classics ones.
Never. It's so cool.
I can get rid of Tetrajets, though. What has annoyed me about them the whole time is that they have their whole vehicle shells just hanging off their back, and I really don't like that.
Yeah, they're not perfect.
Yeah, this doesn't have that, so we'll see.
I know other people. So this is the, alt mode looks incredible, though.
It does.
It's a cool looking jet. But,
it does. I hope they release someone that I don't have so that I have an excuse to get that alt mode.
Yeah. That's what I usually do.
Oh, and then here's the back of it in case you're wondering with that. So there you go.
It looks very Classicsy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's cool. I think that they're doing this specifically for the cone heads because I don't think the cone heads were going to work as Tetrajet. So, but
yeah, we'll see.
But yeah. So the one frustrating thing is that we literally have had waist swivel with pretty much every Siege figure, I think, right? And so this is going to be the first one that we've got, in a while that doesn't have waist swivel. So
yeah.
I wonder how annoying that'll actually be.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see based on like the other articulation it has, how much that annoys us. So, and then
we'll see.
And then finally, I think the one thing we haven't talked about is the fact that Transformers is going to have Build-A-Figures now. So,
at least one.
What was this guy's name again, Christian?
McAdam.
So, yeah. So
Cyberverse is getting a bit of a facelift, and that's good. Like looking at those figures, they actually look pretty decent, and they actually look like the cartoon now, which is nice. Because I am watching the cartoon and it's not bad.
Good. So they increased the price of the Cyberverse figures from so this is a new class. These are deluxe class. So the prior ones that were similar size to deluxe class are called warrior class. So this is deluxe and it's going to be $20. And it looks like the figures have a little more articulation and are built a little bit better.
Yeah, the Bumblebee actually kind of looks good, which is weird because I hate that Bumblebee design.
But apparently this is an 8-part Build-A-Figures. That'll be fun.
That's nightmarish.
I mean, it's 2 waves, but that's a lot of figures.
Because in the cartoon, they've actually made McAdam actually a really cool character, like a fun character. So it'll actually get people to want to have a toy of him. But then hopefully the 8 figures you have to buy don't suck. Because 4 of them don't suck too much. So hopefully the next 4 don't.
And no repaints.
And we'll see.
The thing that
I don't want repaints to be part of buying a Build-A-Figure.
There shouldn't be. Those aren't the 4 characters they revealed so far were Optimus, Shockwave, Bumblebee, and Megatron. And those don't really have body sharers.
Yeah, but they have same character repaints, which would be the one that I'm worried about.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. Or it could
Spark,
just be
Spark Armor Bumblebee or whatever. Like, it's Bumblebee, but he's now Metallic Flake. You have to get him. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
the other 4 could just be 4 Seekers. It'd just be one other mold.
Yeah.
Because half the characters in Cyberverse are Seekers.
So the one thing...
Seekers are a bit different in that way. I guess they're... To someone who's not in Transformers, it's not different. It's like, oh, it's the same toy. For us, it's different, but yeah.
So the one thing that I will say as a parent is that, this is coming out after, like, Cyberverse has been out for, like, 2 years or whatever. And so all of these characters they're releasing, at least in the first part of this wave, like, they've already had multiple toys of this. I could have gotten the Warrior class. I could have gotten, they have the newest wave had the Build-A-Figure armor stuff on it. And then all that. So it's like, if I want to get this McAdam Build-A-Figure, I've already bought my kid, this figure, twice over potentially, or
That's
at least
true.
once. And then I have to go, okay, if I want a McAdam, I have to go and buy another Scorponok and another Bumblebee and another, Optimus Prime. I think that's the only thing that I could say, but I think at the same time, like, these figures look so much better. Like, the quality on it looks so much better than.
But if you're not in it again, and you see that it's another Cyberverse Bumblebee, you bought that Warrior class Bumblebee that half transformed, or Megatron specifically, that half transformed and was a crappy figure. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna buy another Cyberverse Megatron? No, I was already burned once.
Right.
Yeah, is that going to be a part of it? Are we going to see these, hit a discount or get canceled early? I don't know.
Discount would be nice.
I don't know. The thing that's weird for me is so I have a friend of mine. I guess their kids really got into Cyberverse, and we've kind of had some shows talking about that. Already, and the quality and whatnot, right? Well, they just started buying these things, and they have nothing to compare it to. Right? They only have that. And they are 100% happy with the Cyberverse toys. Like, so,
cool.
So that's why I always wonder is as much as we complain and whatever and think it's crap, like, they think it's cool. It's like, oh, they go and get a $12 figure off the shelf, for their kids and whatever. And he's trying to collect all of the various characters that his kids want. And they all seem to be happy with it. So...
Yeah.
As they should.
Like I said, they're fun kid toys.
Yeah.
And they have been, even though they're kind of crappy from a collector's standpoint.
And we need that. Good.
I agree.
We need good kid toys so that we can have more kids to like the brand later.
And I'll be honest, since I've been watching Cyberverse, I've been kind of wondering when Cyberverse was going to get its studio series. It's like actual nice looking figures, not made just to sell lots of toys. And I think this is getting closer to actually getting like something that you could put on your shelf and be like, this is because I watched Cyberverse and I liked it, and this looks like Bumblebee from that, even though he's annoying. That would be fine. He's worked better for that.
I know some people are already complaining about the $20 price point though too. So collectors.
That's what deluxes cost.
I don't know.
Toys are super expensive now.
Right. I'm curious. Like, to me, I feel like if it's $12 or $15 versus $20, I don't know. If I'm buying my kid something in the store, I feel like it's really more that I'm either like gonna buy him something like a bot, or not bots, bots or whatever that are like $5 or $3, or I'm gonna buy him an actual figure. And I don't think the $20 would scare me off, especially considering that so many toys now are $20.
Sure.
Yeah, toys are more expensive now.
They are.
Yeah. So. All right. Do we have anything else to cover from New York Comic Con?
We can mention the pre-orders are up for a lot of these toys.
Yeah. So Hasbro Pulse has them all up. They went up
No.
after the show.
They have deluxes, Voyagers, and Leaders.
And the date on them is March.
It's March.
Yeah.
If you want the smaller size glasses, you're going to have to go to other distributors like Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store.
5 months of the future pre-orders. Not bad. Anything else?
They are still naming the character in the Hot Rod Patrol Big Daddy. I love it. They kept the name. His name is Big Daddy, and that is his name, and he will be a toy again.
I miss the Cybertron repaint of him.
You should go back and get it. It's awesome.
I know. I got downshift, but I need Big Daddy.
Everybody needs Big Daddy.
I mean, I know that sounded wrong, but... And I know Duran would frickin' chastise me about that comment, but oh well.
Everyone needs Big Daddy.
Yeah, no, Big Daddy was a really cool figure, so...
It comes with Trip Up. So let's hope we get Hubs and Greaser later. That's the Hot Rod Patrol, man. I didn't name him.
What's the Super 7 reformatted Megatron? I don't think is that
it was
those
an
little
exclusive.
guys?
No, it was.
No.
They had like a cyborg one at SDCC. It was like translucent. You could see like organs inside of it, which was weird. So this time they made it like when he's getting reformatted to Galvatron. So like translucent purple with grid lines, I think.
I would have made it to where...
Oh, okay.
I would have made it to where the Megatron parts would have popped off. You still have the, the purple skeleton, then you have like Galvatron parts, and you can swap them out, and that would have been kind of cool.
That would have been cool. So.
Oh, one more bit of news from New York Comic Con. It wasn't a big bit of news, but it's huge to me. BotBots are continuing. I've been worried for months about it, but they were not shown off at this one, but they will be at London Comic Con at the end of the month. And I guess I'm going to have to run some sort of live show as they do that.
Oh.
Yeah, BotBots are continuing on.
Speaking of like a line continuing on, I'm kind of surprised you didn't get like any more studio series like reveals, like characters we haven't. I mean that, but I mean, it's like the past couple of days because I just got the Dark of the Moon Prime with the jetpack and trailer yesterday. I'm like, okay, now we have Dark of the Moon Megatron, now we have Dark of the Moon Prime, and now we're getting Shockwave. When are we getting Sentinel? I need Sentinel.
I hope he's coming eventually.
You better.
Well, because they did.
There's only so many characters they have left, so
they'll
have to keep doing them.
They showed off the other characters. Wasn't it like the Canadian Comic-Con or something? Mm-hmm. So I wonder, do you think that London, if they're showing off BotBots, I'm sure that BotBots is not going to be the only thing they show off.
No, it'll be BotBots in Studio Series.
So
it better not be just BotBots, otherwise I'll be...
Because they showed off Devastator, the gray model, for the first time at London last year. So now that's a bit more in progress. They'll probably show off the finished model. So we'll get our first looks at Scavenger and Overload.
How many more figures do we have to make Devastator?
Where are you stopping at the moment?
3 or 4, I think there's left.
There should be 4 left. We currently have Rampage, Long Haul, Scrap Metal, and High Towers just come out. We have seen what's the Scavenger? Yeah, sorry. I meant we'll see Scrapper later, but we have Scavenger, Mixmaster on pre-order. That's 2. And then we'll have Scrapper and Overload, and that's it. So there'll be 8.
So overall, what were you guys like thoughts of the reveals? Like, are you guys getting all these? Are you not? Like, are you excited?
Most likely Hoist and Grapple. I think that's pretty much it. Prime I wouldn't mind. Wheeljack I actually wouldn't mind too.
I like deluxe figures. That's pretty much what I'm excited
no
about.
Grapple for you, Anna?
No Grapple because I have a Grapple. But if they repaint him as someone I don't have, I think the mold looks cool.
Holler.
Yeah, color's fine.
I mean, you know
I
they're gonna
like
do
obnoxious colors.
You know they're gonna do an Inferno, like
Yeah,
and
Oh,
I have
then,
a good.
yeah.
I have a good
Without a
Inferno.
doubt. And I've been
Art-
looking to get an Inferno and Grapple, and if they do that, then I'm definitely game.
Now, what if they do an Art Fire, Anna? Would you sell your Masterpiece Art Fire and get this?
It's gonna be hard because I don't like Masterpiece Artfire, but I love a Circuit Master. So it just every time I look at him, I'm like, I literally own this over $100 figure for a tiny gun person. So it would be difficult if they make an art when they make an Artfire. Let's just say when
Yeah,
Yep,
they
so it's
probably
Artfire.
Artfire's
they probably
happening.
will.
Hauler too. Gotta have Hauler will go to like one of the Amazon packs.
Holler, I don't know, but Artfire, I'm pretty sure.
Hauler's
I will-
gonna happen.
I will say that I am super excited for all of this. I
Of
think
course you
that
are.
the hoist, the grapple, cliff jumper, they all look amazing. I think the Starscream is the only one that I'm kind of not as excited on. But I think I love the Micromaster bases. Like, I am so excited to get all these Micromaster, because that was my biggest complaint about when the Micromasters came out in this last line. I was like, well, where the heck are the bases? Because to me, I just don't feel like, like, I really enjoyed the play pattern of the Titan's Return. And so I think that, bringing
Right.
that with these bases, like, I think it's a fantastic idea. And I'm excited. I'm excited that we'll be able to kind of connect everything together and, make a giant city. I'm excited to see pictures of people doing that. So yeah,
That'll be cool.
I'm excited for this whole thing. I don't think that there's, and honestly, I think that this wave just in general I think it's the best we've ever seen, as far as, like, if you're talking about a Hasbro mainline one, like wave one, like, I mean, has there ever been a better wave of, like, none of them look crappy.
Agreed.
So,
I'd have
I
to
don't know.
think more.
So,
I don't think it's the most exciting wave for me, but I think none of them look crappy is an accurate statement.
but I think, again, like, for the people that are like, oh, but we got a grapple like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, in Universe, it's like, well, whatever. But at the same time, you don't have to get all of it. If you just want Ironworks, if you just want, whoever, like,
Cliff Jumper.
Cliff Jumper, it's like,
Everyone should want Ironworks. Ironworks is the best thing ever,
It's cool.
except BotBots. It's
But your
BotBots,
BotBots can
every
play on the
BotBot.
bases.
They can, and you know what? They will. It's gonna be great.
yeah. And I'm excited too. We're gonna get a run amok and runabout. Like, I mean, this is.
It's gonna be a fun line.
So,
More
but yeah, no,
Micromasters, more
it should
bases.
be exciting. I'm excited. So
Good.
Now give me something from some other planet.
that would be exciting too, honestly. So, all right. Well, with that, do we have anything else, or ready to wrap up?
I'm ready for lunch.
All right, there you go. So
Same.
check out Microcasters on Tuesday, and then we're gonna have a special TF Talk Weekly this week. We're not exactly sure when it's going to go up. It's probably going to be Tuesday morning or so, because it's going to be a little bit different format this week. And then the Microcasters is 10 o'clock. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and that is going to be live on our Facebook page. So check that out. And then, of course, Ouch My Wallet, Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. And I'm trying to think, Cut the Tape with Rick, that's Friday nights. And that's a pre-recorded show. And I think that's all of our shows. So
Think so?
yeah. And then next week, our big 350 for TFYLP. So, I don't know.
Wow.
We're excited.
So there you go. So, All right. Well, I guess with that, thanks everyone for joining us. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.